as you know, we are your trusty review queens. We each bring in a review from the internet that we feel needs to be inspected. We read you the review, we break it down, and then we rate the impact of the review on a scale from 1 to 5 crowns. It's a very regal process that we call
Assess that kvetch.
But Chelsey, for those people who don't speak Yiddish, what does that word mean?
kvetch. It means complain, like, oh, stop kvetching. You're complaining so much.
Eigeveld.
Exactly. It rolls right off the tongue, really. All right, Trey. Guess what? We don't have to ask who goes first today. Did you know that? Because we have a special edition episode today. Wow, episode 4.
That's right. All right. So every now and then, Chelsey and I will bring in a 1-star review as well as a 5-star review on the same subject. And then the final say goes to us, the review queens.
And that's exactly what we have in store for you today. When we have these special edition episodes, we will flip a coin to determine who gets the queenly 5-star review.
We're just so sporty that way. Okay, Chelsey, I have a handy dandy quarter.
Okay.
I'll flip it, and then you call
it in the air.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so ready?
I'm ready. Yes. Heads.
It's heads.
Woo!
Okay, so that means you get to read the 5-star review.
Yes, and that means that you are going to be going first, right? Because you're going to be reading the 1-star review.
Exactly.
Okay.
This week, we're both doing reviews from the very, very expansive website, thenot.com.
Huge.
And we're going to each read a 1-star and a 5-star review of a wedding DJ. And the company is called Spinfo and Mr. Matrioni. And just for reference, Spinfo is spelled SPYNFO. Okay.
Do we think it's like short for like spin fool? Like I'm a spinfo?
Maybe. I looked him up. He's very attractive, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. All right. So
I'll try not to incorporate that into my bias.
Yes, please take attractiveness away from.
Yes, I will.
Bias. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with the 1-star review.
Let's hear it.
Review that review.
Okay. This review is by Celeste W. 1 star. I reached out to DJ Spinfo and decided to caps not utilize his services since it became apparent his schedule was too busy. Once I declined his services, he reduced himself to calling me quote unquote ignorant. Now, what mature man argues with a woman over declining services? I never once attacked him first. I never gave him a reason to call me ignorant. Then he continued and called me a clown. Clearly, he has reached a point where he believes he can be rude and disrespectful. All caps, shame on you for your foul language. I think he should invest in a class for people skills. The direction he decided to take was very unprofessional. I saved caps all the corresponding caps emails as proof. I reported him to caps not KNOT, this website, and forwarded the emails. Then, when the name calling wasn't enough for him, he predicted I would not have a great wedding because he wasn't the DJ. The only person you need to make your wedding great is your spouse. NYC has plenty of talented, skilled DJs, and with the assistance of a computer, you can get music anywhere.
Wow. Celeste W sounds like she was traumatized a little bit.
Celeste had she was fed up. All right.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What's your first impression of this 1-star review from Celeste?
Um, well, I was getting a little bit of Karen vibes, I'm not gonna lie. However, what I was intrigued by was we're declaring that we have evidence. We have emails and we
Mhm.
forwarded these emails. So if that's true, according to the language, you know, that she was called ignorant, that she was called a clown, I would think that there would be evidence of that. So I would
Mhm.
want to call her into question and say maybe she's, you know, being a little bit hyperbolic, but if she has evidence, she has evidence, and I think that that is pretty unacceptable.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you can upload images to reviews on the Knot. I don't know if you can or not, but there is no photographic evidence. I think if that had been attached, then case shut.
Case
Um,
shot, review queen.
yeah. Do you think that do you think this is a valuable review? Do you think like this information is pertinent?
I think so. I mean, personally, I'm like, you know me, I like vibes. I need good vibes. I need good energy. So like the fact that he was like, I'm gonna predict that you have a bad wedding, that's a no-no with me. I would not want to go with anybody that had even the smallest percentage chance that they could bring some bad juju, some bad energy to my day. So if I were to read this review, yeah, I think there'd be a very large part of me that would be like off the list.
It is a real that's a real dig. I mean, like that's a real dig. It I do think it's interesting to note that this Celeste didn't receive services from this vendor.
True.
They inquired and then left a review because in Celeste's experience, uh, allegedly, it was that poor. They didn't even hire them and then decided to even leave a review to alert other brides and grooms, etc.
I think that in some cases, that's a not like I'll knock off a couple crowns for that because yeah, we're not really talking about the actual experience. However, in the wedding industry, specifically, let's say I'm going to the Knot, it's a service industry and it
Mm-hmm.
is a competitive industry. And I think I want to know even sometimes more than the day of the event, which would hopefully be beautiful. What is I'm getting into bed with this person for several months leading up to the wedding. What is that interaction going to be with? And if I'm going to sense that this is going to be trouble, that I'm going to get pushback, that I'm going to possibly turn this person off and they're going to turn on me, that's something that I would want to know. So I am curious about the pre-wedding process. And I think a lot of people going to the Knot would be equally curious.
I mean, that I was going to say that as well. Like, that is like when you are planning a wedding, it is outrageously all involving and
Yeah.
stressful. And so to me, I think on a wedding website, specifically like the Knot, I think someone leaving a review, even if they haven't used the services, is actually very telling because there's so much planning.
Yeah.
And um
The planning is the thing, you know,
right,
there like it is all it's a year of planning for a day that is over
mm,
like that.
that you'll remember the rest of your life.
That you'll remember the rest of your life and please have a wonderful wedding.
The spelling and there are a couple of spelling issues here.
Okay.
One right off the bat is my largest pet peeve with misspelling is when the word to is spelled incorrectly. So this
Okay.
is apparent when it became apparent his schedule was too busy, but
Ooh,
she's
yeah.
the spelled it to, and
Yeah.
that really is a pet peeve of mine. There's also there was another one I thought of when I was reading, and I wanted to call it out and I didn't. Um, Oh, there she's missing. Celeste is missing a space here between spouse and furthermore. Uh, you know, it you can read. Oh, there's a bunch of capitalizations that are missing. You can read and get the point, but I don't think that Celeste did a spell check pass on this.
Okay. This is likely a first draft from Celeste.
Mm-hmm.
Along those lines, if I am going to knock off a couple crowns, possibly, I'm not saying where I'm going to go with my review here, but in the negative column for me with Celeste, the fact that she was like, anybody can play music from the internet, right? Like, no, that's not true. There are professional DJs. They're professional for a reason. They keep the energy going. They have so many skills. I've gone to weddings where they've like pressed a Spotify playlist and it is nowhere near the same as having a professional DJ who's like really able to just take in the energy of the crowd and work with people. And so I think that was a bit of an overstep.
I'm very excited for this episode because I'm ready for the 5-star, and because I did a lot of research on Spinfo, and Spinfo is actually an MC and a DJ. So it's exactly what you're saying. We're focusing on the negative 1-star review right now. But if you were just wanting to push play on your iPod, do they even make iPods anymore?
Maybe, I don't know.
Then you're not looking for the services of DJ Spinfo because they are emceeing the entire 12-hour event.
So I do feel like that was a little bit,
it was a dig back perhaps at saying, I imagine you're going to have a bad wedding because you didn't hire me.
Yeah. And then the Karen vibes came a little bit because she was like, I forwarded the emails to the Knot. I did, which again, not trying to discount anyone, especially as we know, I mean, your husband works in the wedding industry and there are a lot of emotions surrounding planning this. So I'm not going to negate Celeste's emotion here and her passion and just write her off as a Karen because it's a big day. And I think she probably was thrown. And if in fact she was called, a clown.
That's so funny to call someone a clown.
It does seem like like an insult from a DJ for some reason.
Do you think, yes, I agree. Do you think that Celeste is being like truthful or shady?
I think she's being truthful, especially like I started to say with the fact that she's bringing up evidence. I mean, I guess she could be lying, but I don't know why she would, unless she's like a competitor that's completely gone rogue and she's undercover. I think to say like, I have email, like this person said this, I have emails, I forwarded it along to the Knot. I mean, I would imagine that the Knot would vet through some of the reviews at some point, and if that were inaccurate, maybe they themselves would take it down, So I think she is being honest about her experience. I don't know that this is a typical experience, though.
Right. I'm trying to decipher what exactly happened because Celeste is saying they reached out and then decided not to pursue it when they realized they were busy. And then it turned into name calling.
Yes.
And then, like, I imagine that if DJ Spinfo was not available, then there's no reason to like call you a clown, but also to like diss the fact that your wedding is going to be bad because I'm not available. Like, I don't understand I don't know how we got to that point if it did in fact occur. So I'm really unsure.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up because I meant to ask that and then I forgot. So it felt like we very quickly got from like, I reached out to him to like all of a sudden I'm being called a clown. And I'm like, maybe I missed something in there, but like, so she reached out and he said he was not available.
Yeah, Celeste sort of says both things here. The second sentence, or the first sentence is, I decided not to utilize the service since it became apparent his schedule was too busy. So that's not available, just too busy.
Okay.
Once I declined his services, he reduced himself to calling me ignorant. Okay, so that is different. So it's not that they weren't available. they are very busy.
Got it.
And that alarmed Celeste. And so Celeste decided not to hire.
So
Okay.
they were so they were very busy, so they didn't like respond right away.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that is how we led down this train.
That's interesting. It's a good point to be like, when do you call him ignorant? Is it that Celeste was like, we're really interested in you. Like, we are ready to like pull the trigger. These are the dates that we want. And they were all in for Spinfo. And then Spinfo just didn't respond right away. So they found somebody else. And then,
I don't know if there's no contract, like who cares?
Yeah, you're right. It shouldn't really be a factor. Okay.
I mean, okay. Humor, entertaining. I mean, the clown made me laugh.
I wasn't bored to death, but I wouldn't say that I was like, thrilled. If we were in previews for this show, I would think this isn't going to make it.
They need a joke writer.
Yeah, they need it punched up.
Script doctor. So do we care? If you were Celeste's grandma, would you hang this on the fridge? What do you think? No. What's the impact? Do you think this is a deal breaker?
I do think it's a deal breaker, which I think makes it impactful. Like I said, it's really the energy, the vibes thing that's super important to me. I'm very gun shy about that stuff. So if I heard that there was somebody in what I consider to be very much a service industry that was saying that I was disrespectful, saying that I was a clown, it's like, what, Spinfo, take the higher road. If she's not interested in you, thank you, next,
That's really interesting because I don't find it to be a deal breaker. To me, I think there's some miscommunication here and they didn't even get the services. So to me, I would be like, okay, if I'm really into this DJ, then I will allow myself to expect that they might take a little time to get back to me. So
we just don't know the context, I guess. Exactly. I think that's what's hard is like, I do think that's maybe where Celeste failed us a little bit. I wonder if we've omitted some of the information to make ourselves look better and look more victimized in this situation.
That comes up for me too, because there is a lot of she doth protest too much going on. Like I never once attacked him first. He decided I saved all of the emails and I sent them on and the name calling and I don't know. I hear you. It feels a little, I don't know.
Yeah, I do think there might be a factor here where Celeste is burying a bit of the lead.
Possibly.
Okay. I feel like I have enough information to crown it.
All right. So Chelsey and I each have our own set of 1 to 5 crown cards. In an effort to be fair and not influenced by each other's decisions, we will simultaneously reveal our rating.
The queens are tabulating.
All right, Trey, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, I'm ready too.
Total score.
Oh, interesting. Trey is holding up 2 crowns.
And Chelsey's holding up 3 crowns. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I can go first. I gave Celeste 3 crowns. I took away some points for the grammar, for the bias, for the potential bias, I shall say. I also, that was basically the reason why I took away points. I gave her points because personally, energy and vibe is super important to me. So I do think this would impact I'm just super sensitive, especially with events like this. I want to make sure that the person is perfect. So I'm not going to lie. If I read a review like this, I might be like, oof, that's a bit of a turnoff. I don't want to move forward. I would need a personal reference for Spinfo to supersede this review. So because she's influenced me personally to that degree, I felt like I had to give her at least 3 crowns. Why did you do 2?
I just did 2 because it feels a little individual to me.
Okay.
I feel like even with the vibe conversation, perhaps Spinfo was very busy that week and it was a fluke. I don't know why I feel that way. I think because it's his profile was littered with 5-star reviews. And so this
Okay.
does sort of look like an anomaly, which is a little bit of bias outside of what Celeste has written. But I just said 2 because it wasn't entertaining really. And there were some spelling and grammar errors and it felt a little doth protest too much. And it wouldn't stop me from reaching out. So
I think that that's a good point. I didn't know that it was littered amongst 5-star reviews. That being said, because we are doing a 1 in 5, I'm super curious to hear what the next review has to say, because maybe I'm going to want to make a change here to my review of Celeste. But in this very moment, I'm sticking with 3.
yeah.
But I think maybe before we just
There's a reply.
oh my god, there's a reply.
All right. So first time, Chelsey,
Okay.
I buried the lead here. And there's actually a reply from the vendor that you are going to read. It's in your Google Drive.
Oh my god, hold on, let me get that.
So now here we are. We have a reply from the vendor. So DJ Spinfo replied to Celeste's 1-star review, and Chelsey's going to cold read it.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. This really does change the game a little bit. All right. I'm going to try to do Spinfo, some justice here. All right. This is completely